What is that? What is that? It's not something like, yes, good, great, money, but are you fulfilled? Because 1 year, 2 years from now, you might be, is this worth it? Have I wasted 2 years? But when you come with a good intention of, I don't just want this for myself, I want it for other people, I think that opens the door to many, many, many possibilities. You'll never run out. Honestly, I don't believe you'll run out. You just have to carry yourself with so much respect that you know that you are good enough. And when you as the educator can do that, honestly, ask yourself the question. Imagine what you can do by encouraging those individuals that you are teaching. You want them to be inspired. You don't want them to struggle. I feel so many people understand in their own way what it means to struggle. If you really care for anyone, even yourself, you wouldn't want to put someone in a position where you can see they're going to struggle, but instead you're going to help them. And that is the smallest thing we can do to build up anyone and the profession of education. That is, encouraging, not breaking down. That is the most harmful thing you can do to anyone, and then expect them to be happy. No, that's crazy. No, you gotta be a good person, man. Maktub, it's written for you. All about intention, man.
So one more extra question for you, because your answer is really good and I want to hear more. So like you can see the world changing so fast.
Yeah,
especially in the era of technology. So how do you think being a creative learner is important for the student, for their life and for the future?
oh wow, just a pure example is comparing two students, one that studies by book, that studies by listening in class, and another that studies by looking at visuals, listening to music, listening to someone speaking. I think that in itself tells us how the different dynamics that technology offers us. We're not saying become completely dependent on technology, but if you have something, again, going back to the whole point of, I feel like we can relate with students or people that have struggled, by just doing things by the book. This is all I have. And then technology comes along and it's a way, again, problem solving. How can we use these two things and improve and make it easier? Again, people don't like, or I might be generalizing, but a lot of the people that I might have worked with in the past, or people that I currently work with, some of them, or just people in general, they would be like, yeah, but we had it difficult. And you want someone else to struggle? Using technology is it's like another you, you're using it to help you improve. You're not using it for other people. Eventually, when it works for you, you would want to share that. Now, obviously, we live in a world where people don't agree, like too much TV time. Watching TV and using technology for the greater good, right, for education, obviously in this aspect, are two different things. If I'm putting my student or my child or whoever, my sister or cousins, whatever the case may be, if I'm putting a show on for them and my intention again is I want them to learn something from this, then I'm going to do it. So the thing is, don't look at something and think the negative things first. Look at the positives that can come out of using what we've been given. Why is technology there? What is it there for? It's not just to, people, yes, obviously people use it for bad things, but again, the person that's allowing this individual to use this, right? What is your intention? You are the main source of, how this individual is going to make use of this. Like the camera, what is the intention with this camera? There's so many things. It sounds so philosophical, but I mean, genuinely, with our phones, I encourage my students when I'm not teaching and we're doing projects, go on your phone, Look at any possible resource you can find. Don't just look at one thing. You want to gain perspective of everything that you have around you. And then once you've read it, once you've internalized it, you've really gone in depth, then you give your perspective. What do you think? What do you want from this? What have you learned? It's not just this person said that person said this. No. It's a form of problem solving to allow students to critically engage with whatever it is that they're going through, with whatever it is they're learning. That is ultimately what we want, because we need to remember that the same with us. When we left, I might be going a little bit off topic here, but when we decided to do what we're doing now, right? We had this sense of security before that. And then you leave and then it's like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this on my own? But then you have these little skills that you picked up, whether it's with technology, whether it's with engaging through conversation with different people. The point is you've picked specific things that you believe in, and you were assisted by technology, you were assisted with people. So like I said, it's a combination of things. So if we look, once again, with the LMS system, that is like, wow. So many people don't have that, So how can we use it? Find the issues with it, but how can we improve it? It's all about improving things. So the same way we want to improve ourselves, improve our learners, we need to constantly be working towards ways to help our students get to that point. And whether people like it or not, technology is part of that. Everything we do, everything we have is technology is everywhere. So to deny it is, it's a mistake to deny it and pretend that it doesn't exist, because it's how we stay interconnected. It's how we have building and forming relationships, and that in itself, wow. Sorry, I went a little bit long.
Don't worry, I'm not here, talking. So their opinions that the role of technology will replace the role of teachers in the future. Do you believe in that, and why?
No. Before, I did believe it. I'm not going to lie. I was very like, oh my gosh, am I going to have a job in like a few years? Everything's moving so fast. But how can you take something that, I don't know how this will be taken, but something that is authentic and something that's been created to be authentic, they're different. The one needs the other to function. That's why I say you cannot look at, before you could, because back in the day I would assume that with not a lot of technology, but bare minimum, the teacher was the main focus. But now you get technology and it's like it adds a completely different component. So how can we get them to work together? A student's not gonna, as I would say, I was a student going to connect with a robot. And I might be a little bit wrong, but just based on my experience with my students, I have quite a few students that are very introverted. So they'll sit on their phone, or they'll sit immediately after like break time, or it's after class computer. Fine. But how are we going to get that student to feel just a little bit comfortable, to step out of that comfort zone and try something new? You need that bit of authenticity, and that comes from the teacher. So again, yes, in many ways technology can be bad, but in many ways it can also be good. If the first thing you hear about something is negative, what do you think your approach to this thing is going to be? It's going to be negative. So take the negative, but go and find the positives. If you don't believe someone telling you something about it, go and do that research yourself. Find ways that you feel you can incorporate it. You will be so surprised. I was also when we would have a debate like this, my friends and I would also be like, man, cool. Like, really? I'm not going to have a job? What am I going to do? Like, I studied so long for this, And you, again, you gain your perspective. Just find it. Like, people need to go out and look for it. Stop being so scared. Like, I feel like I'm such a fearful person sometimes that it takes a lot for me to really step outside my comfort zone. And you reap, at the end of the day, you reap the benefits of that. So, saying technology is bad in terms of, or not saying it's bad that it'll take over education, is like saying technology would ruin medicine. Without technology, there's specific medicines we wouldn't have. Do you know what I mean? Or there's specific anything that's really important in today's time. So why do you think that automatically technology will take over the role of teachers? Who's going to be running that? Someone's going to be running it. Why can that not be a teacher? Why? I think the fear that maybe some teachers have, I put myself in that same bracket before, is that I took myself out of the equation. Nobody took me out of the equation. I chose to say, oh my gosh, I'm not going to have a job. Where my approach could have been, you know what? It's most likely going to happen that more, technology will filter into the system a lot more. But that doesn't mean, nobody said we're doing this because technology is going to take our jobs. Because then we could have said that with the LMS, but it's not. It's helping us, and we are using that tool to better the environment. So I don't believe it anymore.
Okay, thank you.
Oh God, you're done.
Everything you
Wow.
Okay,
Thank you
just,
so much.